Hi everyone, just doing my morning comb, and I have a follow-up news from mental health. I did tell them everything that was going on, well, kind of offhand. Um, I've got the recording here. It's actually quite a long recording. It's 21 minutes long. I don't know if you guys want to listen to the whole thing. What I can do is I can upload the whole thing on a different platform, and you can decide whether or not you guys want to listen to it. I don't know, if necessary, ignore that's it. But yeah, I spoke to mental health and I basically said, look, from time I'm swearing at a kid and the mental health is getting so, the harassment angle is getting so bad that I'm actually breaking down and not leaving my house because of it. I got to bounce basically. Now, I'm a very emotional person, right? Don't let nothing fool you. I'm very fucking emotional, okay? It's just that because I'm emotional, I have to basically go in the other direction and err on the side of complete logic. Let's run this down, okay? I'm a targeted individual, okay, fine. So whatever community I go into, I'm going to get the same thing, fine. But think about it from the perspective of law and order for a second. If there is slander going around about me, let's just say your mental health and you're genuinely concerned with how things affect me. If there's slander going on around me and noise disturbance, and you know that medications don't really work because 9 times out of 10 the people harassing the client are mentally ill themselves anyway. My thing is this, like, how can somebody stay in an environment where their mental health is slandered knowing that it's going to negatively affect their mental health? If people think that I'm mad and they don't know, like, most people don't know what mad is. Most people think mad is you rocking back and forth from Julian in the corner or talking to yourself. They don't understand the complexities and intricacies of mental health and how it plays out and what causes it and all the rest of it. They don't understand that. All they understand is that person's crazy, you got to stay away from him, right? So imagine me being slandered as crazy. Nobody else knows the nuances of mental health illnesses. Nobody else knows that. And everybody else decides to slander you as well and make your life a misery, which worsens your mental health on top of that. Now, this is the point where I get to what I've learned from being in this place. I learned the same thing from being in this place that I should have learned with living with my relative. Okay? My relative had a family that did the same thing. They were black, so there was no racism, right? They had children spying on me. I'm pretty sure they were using electronic weaponry, although I don't know that part for sure. I've said it before, like I knew what was going on, but the truth of the matter is I don't know for sure. All I know is that I heard one of the children saying that it messes with my radio. So it was definitely either something was going on with the electronic weaponry or something was happening. But the family that I lived with at the time, underneath, was black, right? And they were spying on me. I tried everything possible to avoid leaving in spite of the fact that the whole community were involved in harassing me over my mental health. But it wasn't just because I was mentally ill, it was because of the gang stalking. So the whole community was invested in harassing me over my mental health. And like an idiot, because I didn't know where I would go or what I would do, I fought to stay. And now that I'm in this situation, having learned from that past, I see now that fighting to stay is one of the stupidest things you can do when you're going through this. Because from a legal perspective, from a health perspective, it does not make sense for a mentally ill person to stay in a community where their mental health is slandered. It doesn't make any sense. Nor does it make any sense to leave here having been made homeless as a result of that harassment and not at least get some kind of compensation out of it. It makes no logical sense. Everything, I hate even thinking about this. I don't even want to think about that thing upstairs. I don't even want to think about them. Okay? I don't even want to think about them. I don't really think about what they're doing, what they're saying. I'm in a business. All right? I don't even want to think about them anymore, let alone hear them. It don't mean weird. Fuck off, God. All right, just... I don't even want to think about them, let alone hear them. Let alone talk about them. So everything that I'm doing right now with regards to this is a logical decision only. Do I want revenge again? I'm angry. You don't go through shit like that and not be angry. But it's just like I said before, revenge ain't gonna get this done. Revenge ain't gonna get this done. Revenge is petty. Revenge reduces important issues like mental health care and mental health in the community. It reduces all that to what? Tit for tat. And most of the harassment going on is caused by kids anyway. So if you really want to reduce it down, if I'm doing this out of revenge, that means I'm trying to get revenge on the kids. What the fuck sense does that make? I'm nearly 40. What the fuck do I look like? Trying to sue my landlords, trying to working to self-litigate in a discrimination case against my landlords, and then on top of that, leaving. This is about more than a little kid. This is about more than little kids. The kids, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? They're fucking kids. They don't know what's going on. It's the adults, it's the quiet adults who drop in little taboos here and there. You see, children attach themselves to whatever it is that's most stimulating or most naughty because they think it's a game. But they get that from the adults. This is not the kids' fault. None of this is their fault. This is the adults' fault. So I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to leave a home with that fucking view. Let me tell you something right now. This is what I'm leaving. Look at this fucking view. I see that view every fucking morning when I get up. This is what I'm leaving. I'm leaving a place of my own where I have established my occult practices. I'm leaving somewhere where I have actually found out who I am as a person. I'm leaving all of that because I know that mental health slandering is going to have a negative effect on the community around me. I know that it's going to have a negative effect on how people see me and how people treat me. And that in turn is going to affect my health. But it don't mean that my landlords ain't going to catch static for rendering me homeless because of this shit. Don't mean my landlords ain't going to catch static. That's who should have caught static when it came to the situation in Harlesden. That's who should have caught static, the landlords. And in fact, seeing as them neighbours wanted to play games, I should have sued their asses for fucking discrimination. There are a lot of people I could have sued back in Harlesden for discrimination against me because of my mental health. A lot of fucking people. A lot of fucking people. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to put yourself above the law and potentially ruin somebody's life based on mental health slander, you need to pay the cost. And if you're going to make somebody homeless because of their mental health too, you need to pay the cost. And too much fucking around going on out here. And people don't use their fucking brain and they don't act like adults. Act like I'm supposed to sit here and blame the fucking child for what they've been taught. I might not like that kid. I might hate that kid. But just because I don't like that kid, it doesn't mean that I blame them. They're still a fucking kid. And most kids are dickheads anyway. Now, don't get me wrong, I love children. But children are still people. And like most adults, most kids are dickheads. The fuck do I look like trying to get revenge on a fucking little kid? The fuck? What? It just demonstrates to me that I am not surrounded by mature adults. I'm surrounded by overgrown children who don't think. And it's just like I said before, they attach themselves towards hatred of blacks, hatred of this, hatred of that, to make themselves seem more interesting and more well developed than they actually are. And another thing that fucking bugs me is these people are acting like just because they cry or just because they get overwhelmed that they're not selfish, amoral and cruel. Doesn't matter if you shed fucking tears. Doesn't matter if you get overwhelmed. It doesn't matter if you can't cope. You are what you are. And then you're trying to project your malaise onto me because I only cried a couple of times and then got over it. Resilience is not what... Evil is not resilience. That's not what evil is. That's not what evil is. Idiot. I'm surrounded by people who don't know their arse from their elbow. And that's this family right here. Saying as they want to throw the dumb N-word around. They're rough as a badger's asshole. With skin tags on it. Like, I can't stand this shit. Just because you cry or you have feelings, it doesn't mean you're a good person. How many times? Just because you feel bad about what you're doing, if you're still doing it, like, what does that say? Stop it. Just stop it. I don't want to leave this place. I don't want to leave this place. And it's not necessarily because I really like it here. Don't get me wrong. It's fucking beautiful here. It's absolutely stunning. But it's like, I feel like I just moved in here. I've only been here for 6 months. This is supposed to be a flat, not a hostel. I've only been here 6 months. Have to fucking dip out already. All because of this shit. But this is exactly what I'm saying. As a targeted individual, if people want to slander you, you got to give them a bloody nose, even if you don't win. Legally, when it comes to legalities, you've got to give them a bloody nose. Let them know you're not for turning. Let them know you're not going to be easily overturned like that. Give them a bloody nose. In a court of law, you got to let these people know. You got to swing. You want to make me homeless because of my mental health? Okay, you've been served. Oh, okay, you want to harass me out of my home? Okay, I'm putting in a report, and then I'm going to use your report to get the fuck up out of here. If these people are going to pay to be paid for upsetting you, if they're gonna get something out of upsetting you, you better get something out of being upset. I'm just saying. So yeah, everything that I'm doing, purely logical. My feelings, I want to stay here. I want to stay in my home. I don't know whether that family are leaving or not. Well, yeah, they probably are. But this is my home. I wanted to stay here. But if the gang stalking wills it, I will move. It's not the first time I've had to leave somewhere I've called home. Like, it's not the first time I've had to do it. I suspect it won't be the last either. But I'm not about to walk up out of here and not give nobody a bloody nose legally. That's what this is about. I have to think logically. I'm really, really emotional. And like day to day, my emotions change. That's why when I make videos, it just seems like I'm contradicting myself on some real shit. Because I'm like Tinkerbell. When I feel one emotion, I feel it all the way to its extreme, only to feel something else and feel a different way entirely. So I have to make logical decisions. I can't make decisions based on how I actually feel. I have to make decisions based on the situation. I have to make decisions based on logic and reason. I can't make decisions based on how I feel. I can't. I hate it, but that's the way it has to be. But I guess it's one of the blessings of getting older is that you can actually do that. Because when you're a kid, it's like, when you're a kid with BPD and nobody's diagnosing it and everybody's abusing you, and listen, oh Lord. I'm just grateful to be older. That's all I'm saying. A lot of people who say, oh, the young years are the best years of your life. You must have died before you were 18. Or you wasted your life because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The best years for me came in my 30s, got older, and I was able to use logic. Like when my BPD was acting up, I was able to use logic to think about the situation. And that saved me. That saved me. I'm going to miss this place. I'm going to miss it. But I have something in mind. I'm not giving up because there's something on the horizon, right, that I'm really excited about. And I wish I could tell you. But I'm keeping it close to my chest for now because I want this shit to work. Okay? And I know that targeting is going to be all over that shit. So I have to prepare every step of the way. All right. I love you guys. You take care. Bye bye.